Hello, besties out there. We are living our best life at Kiki's Keys to Unlocking Your Best Life. Thank you for tuning in to us today. My name is Kiki Rogers, and I'm here with my co-host today, Mr. Wesley Soares.
Hello.
Hi, Wesley. How's it going?
It's going good. We had an amazing show, the Tucson Tasty Show, and check it out on the Tasty Show 520 YouTube.
Absolutely. So that show just preceded mine.
Yes. Sorry you
And-
didn't get to try any of the food. I mean, Marcella from The Little One is absolutely, hands down, one of my favorite restaurants because everything's so fresh and just incredible. And she brought in some juices that they juiced this morning for us.
My.
And it just right on the...
Like drinking juices, like
Yes.
different fruits and such.
Exactly.
When I spent some time in Haiti, I loved every morning we had fresh juice from the mangoes and other fruit. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Wes, for being here with us today. And we are also joined with a very special couple of guests, Julie Festerling and her daughter, Kaylee. Hi, Julie and Kaylee.
Hi. Hi, Kiki. Thanks for having us here today. It's so great to be a part of your show.
Well, I am so happy to have you here and just blessed to be able to meet you and connect with you here in Tucson. Just a little backstory for those who may not know. The reason why I do have this show and why I want to showcase stories of people who've been through their worst to their best is because 4.5 years ago, I really felt like I was at my worst point in my life. I had lost my 17-year-old son in a car accident. He was riding his bike and unfortunately was struck from behind and lost his life. And I hit my absolute rock bottom at that point. And moving away from Minnesota and starting over here in Tucson, I've been able to kind of recapture a new life for myself and build back. And so I said I wanted to do the show to share stories of other people who've kind of bounced back and how they did so to give hope and inspiration to others. And one of the very first people I thought of course, was you, Julie. I had to have you as my guest because you have quite a remarkable story.
Wow. Thanks, Kiki. Yeah, both of us have just been through a really, really tough time. You know, the circle of life says we should bury our parents. We don't bury our children. So to have to go through that definitely is a something in life that has brought us together as friends. And it's great that we can take that pain and let's turn it into a purpose. Let's do something for other people who are also struggling from that. You know, we think we're invincible. We think our kids are invincible. We don't think it will happen to us. And as you know very well, it happens to us sometimes.
It does sometimes. Lightning sometimes does strike. And for me, it struck on August 21st of 2019. And it was only 12 weeks later, on November 13th, that you also got that dreaded news. Can you share with us a little bit about what happened that night and a little bit more about your daughter, Caitlin?
Sure. So I think it's fair to title that my worst day of my life. November 13th started off as a good day. It started off like every other day. We got up in the morning, and as we were leaving, I was taking my daughter Kaylee to kindergarten. And as we were leaving, we yelled upstairs to Caitlin, "Bye, Caitlin. Have a great day. We love you." And Caitlin yelled back, "Bye, Sissy. I love you too." And I took Kaylee to school, and I went to work. And later that evening, my mother called and said, "Julie, I can't get a hold of Caitlin. Have you talked to her?" And I said, "No, Mom. She's at work." She worked at Vero Amore, one of our favorite Italian restaurants, and she'd been there for over 5 years. Caitlin never missed a day of work. So she couldn't get a hold of her, and I said, well, let me try calling her. And I tried calling her. She didn't answer, and Caitlin didn't call back. So I called Vero Amore, and they said, "Julie, Caitlin's never missed a day of work, and she did not show up to work. But we did hear that her boyfriend was unfortunately killed in a car crash."
Oh, my gosh.
They were always together. So my motherly gut instinct said something's not right. So I found out where the crash was, drove towards it. And when we got there, we waited and waited and waited until officers came up to us and gave us the very, very horrible news that my daughter unfortunately did not make it, along with her boyfriend. So Caitlin Festerling and Paul Garcia were both killed in a car crash caused by a distracted driver.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was broad daylight, 3:42 in the afternoon.
Wow. And plus, you're a father. I'm a mother. I mean, we think that's the worst thing that could ever happen to us or to our children.
Right.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just don't think it'll happen. Never in a million years did I ever think something was going to happen like that to my child.
Mm-hmm.
Before I found out that she was killed in the car crash, I had heard about the car crash, as I said, so I called emergency rooms. I called 911 to ask what happened. Do you have any information? Because I thought, maybe my daughter is hurt. She's definitely not dead.
Right.
No, she was dead.
No.
And she's not coming back.
I remember that same kind of feeling to me when we were told the news that our son had passed away. I just, no, that can't be. I was numb, completely numb to it.
You're in denial.
It took 3 days before it really hit me. But it was, I think as moms, we are so used to caring for our children and our family that in that moment, it's hard to care for ourselves. How did you respond to that and to stay strong enough for your other children?
My son was actually with me that day. He was, he and his best friend were following me in his truck because we had just been somewhere together and we were going to eat dinner. And it was when we were pulling into the place for dinner that we got the phone call from my mother. And I said to my son that we can't eat dinner right now. We need to go find where this crash is. Your sister was supposedly in a crash. So my son and his best friend actually ended up being there with me. And it was one thing to hear the news from the officers, and it was another thing to turn and look into my son's eyes. And both of us just started crying. His friends started crying. We were just in shock. So moving forward from that, family came together, friends came together. We really have such a great community here. We are truly blessed with our community. So many people came together, and that was our support system that got us through it. Right after it happens, as you probably know, you go into mom mode.
Yeah.
Okay, this happened. Now what's my next step?
Yeah.
I don't have time to lose it and go to bed and not get out of bed. You have to take those next steps as a mom. So you do whatever you have to do
I
to
get
just
that.
do it, right?
Exactly. Yep.
You have to plan a funeral. You have to decide.
Well, not only a funeral, that's your last gift to your child.
Mm-hmm.
I equate that to, I pulled out that box. I was saving everything for graduation. He was just going into his senior year. And so everything I had planned to have for his graduation, I had for his funeral. We pulled out the Boy Scouts uniforms and the sash and the, all those little milestones of his short life. And that was the last gift I could give him, was a celebration of life. And so
Celebration of life. But you have so many decisions you have to make that you don't realize until it happens to you. I mean, and I'm not sure how it was for you folks, but for us, it was all the decisions of, do we cremate? Do we embalm? Do we do an urn? Do we do a casket? Do we bury? You have to pick out all that stuff. You have to make all those decisions. My daughter, Caitlin, was 21 years old, and she was a go-getter. She was a hard-working young lady. She was going to college. She was working 2 jobs, and she had her will done. Not a lot of 21-year-olds
Really?
have a will.
So she had some of those decisions shared with you
She
already?
did, but she never shared the decisions. We never talked about cremation and stuff like that. So those were decisions we had to make, and they were hard.
It is, especially for your child, because you
know.
want the best for your child no matter what. Well, I am so honored that you're here sharing with us more about Caitlin and more about your journey as a mother losing a child such a horrific way. We're going to be going into break fairly soon. I do want to just thank our sponsors. Without these wonderful supporters, we wouldn't be able to be here on the radio. So thank you to Sarah Sodders with Sarah Sodders Real Estate. And also thank you to We Care Tucson, helping out those who are looking for electronics or medical devices in need. If you have any electronics or medical devices that you can donate to them, please reach out to We Care Tucson. And thank you to Wes of the Tucson Tasty Show. No, I said it wrong, didn't I?
The Tucson Tasty Show.
Okay, the Tucson Tasty Show. Thank you for being part of the conversation, Wes, as well.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
You're a little speechless. I think this is the first time I've ever seen you so quiet. It's a powerful story, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so thank you to Julie. We're going to go into commercial, and when we come back, we're going to hear more about how Julie took that pain and turned it into a mission, and what Phones Down Just Drive is doing and how you can support them. So we'll talk to you right after the break. Welcome back, our besties out there. This is Kiki Rogers with Kiki's Keys, and we are here with Mr. Wesley Source.
Hello, hello.
Of the Tucson Tasty Show.
The Tucson Tasty Show, every Saturday from 3 to 4, and check it out on YouTube, The Tasty Show 520. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you're here. And just a reminder, you can also go on YouTube. We're going to start posting the videos there at Kiki's Keys on YouTube.
Beautiful.
As well as on Facebook at Kiki's Keys.
That's awesome.
So we are here to share stories of people who've been through their worst and now living their best. And we are here with beautiful guests, Julie Vesterline and her daughter, Kaylee. Hi again, Kaylee. You having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you have anything you want to share about your sister?
Well, I miss her a lot.
I'm sure you do, kiddo. Yeah.
She was like another mom to me.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that, dear. We're so glad you're here with us. And we're so glad to see Julie and Kaylee and their family making great impact on our community here in Tucson and elsewhere with Phones Down Just Drive. Tell us a little bit more about what Phones Down Just Drive is, Julie.
Phones Down Just Drive is a local nonprofit. We are a 501c3. So any donations that are given to us, you can write those off on your taxes. And our mission is just to turn our pain into purpose. Let's make our roadways safer for everybody out there. Bicyclists, pedestrians, pets, people, whoever is on the roadway, let's make it safer. And it's such a simple solution. Put that phone down while driving. You can still talk on a phone as long as you have hands-free technology, which nowadays most cars come with that technology. And if they don't, there's still a solution. There are things we can put in our ears to listen to our phones.
Right.
And if people don't have those, reach out to us. We will gladly give that type of technology to you. Whatever we can do to just try to make our roads safer. It is against the law to hold our phones and to manipulate our phones while driving. So many people are not aware of that, but it is. There's an Arizona revised statute that reminds us it's against the law to touch our phones or to have our phones touch any part of our body when driving.
You know, that's it. I was sitting at a coffee shop. I do a segment, and we're going to actually be bringing it back. And it's coffee with the Tucson Tasty Show, and it's a lot of fun because it's literally just me, my guests, having coffee at a local coffee shop, highlighting that coffee shop, and we try to do it outside, inside, wherever they'll allow us. And we were at a location downtown, and I was counting everybody that was it was right before Christmas too, and I was counting how many people were on their phones, and it was startling because we're talking about on it would be considered then to Fourth, and going into downtown, and there was just, I would say 70 to 80% of the people were on their phones, pulling up to a four-way stop sign, kind of corner from Corbett.
I think it's a combination of believing that they're just invincible. It's not going to happen to me. And also, I think we kind of lose our mindfulness when we're driving because we've done it so many times that we take it for granted. How many times have you driven somewhere and go, how did I just get here? Or I didn't really remember every turn to turn, that we rely on that muscle memory. Regardless what it is, I think it's a great reminder that we need to pay better attention when we're behind the wheel.
And that's actually a physiological thing that happens, the autopilot, and you wake up. It's not really sleeping because that's exhaustion, and driving while exhausted is worse than driving drunk, especially when you hit that 20-hour mark of no sleep. You're intoxicated. I mean, it's you are.
Right.
And but that automatic driving, I have techniques that I use to keep myself aware of the driving, and it's active driving, and you have to have that active driving. You can't have the phone in your hand. You can't be distracted, otherwise something's going to happen. And I drive a lot on the freeway, so yeah. I'm sure you could probably give more statistics and other things to that as well.
So piggybacking on that, you mentioned driving drunk. Driving drunk, at least people are usually still looking at the road. They're trying really, really hard to see where the road is because they know it's in front of them, and they're trying really, really hard to see the road signals. Oh, it's a red light. I better stop. I better stop at that stop sign. When you're texting and driving, you're not even looking at the road.
Right.
So they say every time you look down at your cell phone to read a text message, you hear the ding. We've all done it. You hear the ding, and it's like, oh, I better look at that. And you look at that, and that's taken on average, about 5 seconds off of taking your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds, which is equivalent to driving the length of a football field blindfolded.
Right.
Wow.
Would we ever get in our car and put a blindfold on and start driving? No. But yet I would hope not. I don't know. Wesley, you're looking at me like, maybe. And there probably are people who would do that, and they probably are making a reality show or doing something really dumb with it. But
I have really amazing insurance, so no, I'm kidding.
You do have really amazing insurance. He's not kidding. Country
I would never
Financial,
want to.
Right.
a sponsor of the show as well.
yes.
It saved me $1,300 a year by
Yes.
switching to Country Financial Insurance with
goodness.
Kiki, and we did switch for both auto and house, and hands down, so much better coverage than the specifically military insurance agency
Right.
that I was using before. But
But good insurance cannot still
No.
take back a life.
no.
Good insurance is not going to bring our children back.
You're right.
It just and so many people, what we are finding is so many drivers out there are either not insured or they're way underinsured.
Absolutely. In Tucson alone, or Arizona has some of the highest concentration of completely uninsured drivers. They estimate anywhere from 25 to 35% have no insurance at all, and at least 50% only have state minimums, in which case, one trip to the ER, you're going to exceed those limits.
You're going to exceed them. You're going to absolutely exceed them. So phones down, just drive. We're just out there trying to raise awareness. A lot of people don't know about the hands-free Arizona law. They don't know that it's illegal to watch a movie, watch soap operas, watch Netflix, any of that. You're not supposed to do that while driving.
Right.
You're not supposed to
That's
watch any
terrifying.
videos.
It
Don't make videos while driving. That's a cool double rainbow in the sky.
Pull over.
Pull
Right,
over.
Mama.
Yeah, don't be videoing that while driving. Ladies, they try to stick their phone in their little bra strap, and because that way they
Really?
think they're
I
hands
haven't
free.
even seen that before.
People put their phone in their pocket because then they're hands free, right? Technically, it's still illegal because the phone is still touching your body. It's not supposed to. Writing and reading any text messages, like I said, that's like taking your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds every time.
My phone automatically reads the text messages to me. If it's something that's important, I literally say respond, and I do the text messages if I'm calling them.
Same.
And
That's awesome.
I have the Apple AirPods.
Yes.
And I think that's what you
Yes.
have too. And Siri will read my text to me so I don't take my eyes off the road. And I also, as I shared with you before, have a pair of Galaxy, the Pro AirPods or whatever. They're really good for Android phones as opposed to Apple's. And so I am happy to donate those to your organization for your next fundraising. So let's talk about some events you have coming up. First of all, at Topgolf, April 6th. Share with us what's going on there.
Oh, awesome. Topgolf is always fun. They do a car meet there once a month, the first Saturday of the month. Phones down, just drive, partners with them, with Crown Concepts, Coffee Cars, and Clubs, the first Saturday of the month twice a year, November and April. The reason we selected those 2 months is November. We do that in memory of Caitlin and Paul, my daughter Caitlin and her boyfriend Paul. That's the month they were killed. It was November 13th. And then April is a very, very special month to us. It's National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. So that's
Okay.
when we hit education hard. So phones down, just drive. We'll have our tent set up there right in front of Topgolf, right next to Topgolf's tent and Crown Concepts tent. Something kind of cool that we're going to have this time is we're going to have a Tesla Cybertruck there.
Ooh.
Everybody has been wanting to see one in person, so come out and see one from 7 to 9. If you're bringing a car to show off that day, get there early by 6:30 in the morning if you want to get a parking spot.
Wonderful. Well, we may have time for one or two callers if they call in right away. Our number is 520-790-2040. If you have any questions for Julie before we wrap up here, please call in. And Julie, in addition to April 6th, what other ways can people get involved with Phones Down Just Drive or support your organization?
What we are looking for from our community is we're looking for the 3 T's: time, talents, treasures. It's really hard to get people to come out and volunteer sometimes, especially for what we are raising awareness on. It's hard to get volunteers. People don't want to put their phones down while driving. We just talked about the statistics. So people don't want to be hypocrites. But the best way to change that habit is to get involved with an organization that's teaching a better way to do it. So come out, volunteer for us. Come to our Facebook page, Phones Down Just Drive, or go to our website, phonesdownjustdrive.org. If you want to donate, go to the website. You can see a QR code, scan it, and that you can just donate with a credit card, or you can even mail a check.
And you can also find Kiki's Keys on Facebook. If anyone messages me through Kiki's Keys or Kiki Rogers on Facebook, I have a special gift that Julie brought for our listeners. We have some magnets, stickers, and information here about Phones Down Just Drive. So for those on YouTube, I'll hold those up so y'all can see. But what a wonderful gift. Thank you for bringing these in, Julie. And so we'll be giving those away to anyone who messages me through either the Facebook or YouTube. And I am really happy to have you here. I'm so proud of you, how you took a tragedy and turned it into such an amazing organization and effort in our community.
Thank you, Kiki. I mean, you're doing it too. You're out there just doing good for the community, and that's what it's all about. It's a partnership. We all come together for the best things we can do for everybody.
Awesome. And Kaylee, how proud are you of your mom for getting this organization started?
I'm very proud of her.
I can see that. It is so glad I'm so glad to have you here. And you, Julian West, thank you so much for tuning in, all of our listeners out there, to Kiki's Keys to Unlocking Your Best Life. We will be back again next Saturday at 4 o'clock following the Tucson Tasty Show.
Every week, Saturday from 3 to 4.
And we'll love to hear from you again. Next week, we're going to have special guest Sean Campbell as our interview. And we couldn't do it without our wonderful sponsors, Country Financial, We Care Tucson, and Sarah Sodders Real Estate. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in. And we will talk to you all next week. Go be your best you can be. No one else can do it better than you.